Hey everyone, want to give you the heads up that the Chart Guys has a new service coming out. The Chart Guys have always had goal number one of teaching people technical analysis, but we realized through feedback that takes a whole bunch of time, and some people just don't have that time with their lifestyle. So we're going to be releasing a swing report that goes out on a weekly basis, and it'll be both in written and video format. And we are currently rolling that out with our members at the moment. So keep an eye out for our social media, and certainly in front of these videos, I'll let you know when that swing report goes live. Essentially, the goal of the swing report is to save you time, put in a couple dozen hours every week, get this report out, and ideally help you profit. So I appreciate your support, and I will let you know when it is live for the public. Hey traders, checking in on the broader market. I'll put out a video later this evening looking at some individual names. I was trading PENN and CGC bullish today, also watching NKLA, some of the more hype, volatile names. But looking at the S&P 500, today was marked by a ton of blue sky bulls, mostly in the tech sector. QQQ is continuing to lead the way higher. We're using SPX 500 USD because of the dividend distribution on SPY. We did end the day with some weakness on SPY. You can see we closed down at the low of the day, and that was a loss of the hourly uptrend. So we had the high of pre-market, low of the day, which is an hourly high or low, double top at the high of pre-market, and then lost support. So technically confirming an hourly downtrend into the end of the day. So looking at the S&P 500 futures chart, it's a rejection from resistance. We've got our high, low, lower high. Things got a bit choppy. The most important support is 30.39, and the most important resistance for me is 31.67.70. We had a high of extended hours on, what was that, Friday? That was 31.56.10. We rejected it 31.56.80. So there is clearly still resistance. We know the bulls have momentum in their favor short term, and the burden of proof is on the bears to break 30.39, which would be very notable if that were to happen. If we were to see that failure to break resistance and then break of support, we're going to be looking back at our line in the sand level. But again, that's the burden of proof on the bears. Can we see this price knocked back down towards that support? That support level is currently 2.8, we'll call it just under 3% resistance, or 3% away from support, and we're about 1.2% away from resistance. So that's what we're looking at in the short term, and we're watching our blue sky bulls: Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Facebook, NVDA, biotech sector. There's a ton of blue sky bulls out there, which is best case scenario for the broader market, but the door is still open for a rejection from resistance. IWM, still range bound. We're going to be watching for a spike in volatility. What did I say in yesterday's video about the MJ sector? Watch for a spike in volume and volatility. We got that today, and the MJ charts looked like this. So just as an example, the bull move faded, and I'll talk about that in the video later, but look at this range, just tightening range on the daily. We had a big bull volume, lots of volume showed up, and a lot of volatility showed up. And you look at IWM, ignore that candle, look at these 5 days, and you look at IWM, it's very similar, which tells us get ready for a spike in volume and volatility sometime in the next few days. Doesn't have to be tomorrow, but likely before the end of the week. So the most important IWM support is 138.83, and the most important resistance is 146.69. And we double topped at 144.51, 144.66. So still range bound on IWM. QQQ is not range bound, hitting blue sky breakout and all-time highs. If the low of today breaks tomorrow on QQQ, we're going to look for a daily higher low to form. We have a short-term base of support, and again, dividend distribution is screwing it up. So let's go over to stockcharts.com. And we will look at the QQQ short-term support level that the bulls ideally want to hold to keep that control. And I'm looking down at 242.03 as a key short-term support level. And the next level we'll look at if the low today, 247.82, breaks. So lead tech sector, the healthcare sector, again, range bound. So unable to break the high of Friday at 101.34. Most important support for me is 98.91 in the short term and sideways range. Financial sector, unable to see bounce follow through. If the XLF bears break 23.53 from here, the low of yesterday, it'll be very notable, and that will open the door that the S&P 500 could drop down and break its support in the short term. XLF has been our weakest sector, and if our weakest sector drops to lower lows, it will capture our attention. We haven't seen 2 strong green days in a row in the financial sector in a while. Biotech sector, huge bull. Pullback, still in an hourly uptrend, but we have to be cautious if we fail to break the high of today, tomorrow, and then lose the hourly uptrend. Daily consolidation, looking for a daily higher low. Again, the biotech sector not really impacting the S&P 500 as a whole. SMH, high of Friday, 153.95. We broke that level, but only by 15 cents. Double top at 154.77. Resistance still remains. Most important daily support is now 149.52. So what do we do with this information? Well, if I'm an aggressive bear, I am using that S&P 500 resistance as a top fish level. Again, we always want to be limiting our risk. And if I want to be bearish, my stop, I will say, all right, I will give up on being bearish if that level breaks. And as long as that level is resistant, I'm going to look to scale into positions. That's perfectly fine. Again, we have to see weakness in the tech sector names in order for the S&P 500 bears to successfully reject the price from that level. But as long as your risk is limited, that's okay. If you are bullish, you are looking at individual names ideally. Because again, if I'm playing Amazon, it all depends on your time frame. If I'm in a swing trade on Amazon, I know the next time we pull back, we're likely to just form a daily higher low and keep the daily uptrend intact. So what XLF is doing isn't going to be as important to me if I'm in an individual name like Amazon. But as I am heading into each morning as a day trader, that the next couple days, you better believe I am wide open to looking in both directions because of the sideways daily range that we are currently in. The VIX, a little bit of a lower wick today, trying to bounce. Looking at it on the 4-hour perspective, these lower highs are clear. So again, lower high at 37.50, 36.30, 35.40, anything under 35.40, just a lower high, keeping those bears in control of this downtrend. Gold. So getting follow through on this breakout. Daily RSI is not overextended. 4-hour RSI is in the upper 70s, but again, we scroll back. What have we done historically? This RSI can go over 80. So that's not a good enough reason to be looking for a pullback. We have to see a loss of trends. We have to see, we're right now, next time we pull back, anything above 1747 is a daily higher low. That's a back test. Remember our resistance? 1744, 1745 was key daily resistance. Back tested and held it into continuation. When we lose the 4-hour uptrend, there's plenty of space for a daily higher low to form. So bulls keeping control on gold. Silver did not break the high of today. So gold is gaining strength against silver today. And still multiple daily resistances, 1819 and 1839, whereas gold, the only resistance levels we're looking at are short-term psychological levels being at 9-year highs, and the next level, 1796 from a long time ago. Miners, bearish reversal candle on the daily, but still in an hourly uptrend. If we drop down and break 35.20 tomorrow, we'll lose the hourly uptrend and we'll look for a daily higher low to form. So sometimes we look for the potential of miners to give a little bit of a lead indication on what the metals are going to do. It certainly happened many times. And with no weakness in gold and some weakness in these miners, be curious to see if gold gives us a consolidation day tomorrow. Oil looking a little bit toppy. We did break the double top of 40.69 and 40.77 convincingly, but pulling back. 4-hour higher low to maintain the uptrend is 39.76. Bulls trying for another 4-hour higher low, but even if that holds, bulls have to be cautious of a head and shoulders. Trying to find the time frame I like it the best on. Probably the 2-hour chart here. So it would be the left shoulder, the head. So if we hold 39.76, it's good for the bulls to keep control, but we have to be cautious of the lower high and lower low rolling over, which would mean zoom out because daily consolidation is underway, and anything above 34.66 is a daily higher low as far as I'm concerned. And natural gas daily lower high is set, and we're heading back down towards support of 1538, bears keeping full control of natural gas. So overall, it's an individual ticker market out there right now where some names are extremely strong, Some names are very weak. I was looking for a bearish entry on these private prisons that I've been tracking, and it didn't even bounce enough on the daily time frame. I'm looking at Geo and looking at anything under 1375 as a daily low or high, but it's potentially bear flagging and didn't even bounce significantly enough for me to make a bearish entry. So we got weak names, we got strong names, we got names in tightening ranges. There's something for everybody out there. We always want to know what the market is doing. We always want to know what the sector of the ticker that we are trading, we want to know what that's doing, but it comes down to the individual name and what it is doing as the most important factor. So what I'll be watching for tomorrow is, do we see weakness in the tech sector? What I'll be watching into overnight and into tomorrow is the S&P 500 futures 4-hour uptrend. Last night we had the headline, US-China trade deal is off. And then Trump comes out and says, no, it's still on. So that was pretty much a short squeeze where we dumped and then V-shaped recovery. So on this pullback right now, we're just looking for a 4-hour higher low compared to that dump low of 30.72. And if we lose the 4-hour uptrend after this double top, then it will be more convincing for the bears. But for now, overnight, just watching for a 4-hour higher low at the moment. Hope you're well, do good things, and we'll see you tomorrow. Check out the other video I'm going to put out later tonight if you want some more individual tickers, volatility, trade examples, all that good stuff. So Mom of the Year award goes to the Mama Bear with 4 cubs, but Parents of the Year goes to these guys. They were here last year, they raised 2 babies. This spring, they've already raised 2 babies to adulthood that flew out of their nest, and now they've got at least 4, maybe 5 new mouths to feed. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any chance that all of them are going to survive, but pretty astounding. As soon the day after the first round of babies left the nest, they were fixing the nest, putting more stuff in it, and then laying more eggs.